This is the QTV Nightly News and I am Loliam Kamara. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. Gambian pilgrims have joined millions of Muslims in Minna as the annual Hajj pilgrimage began on Wednesday in Makkah, Saudi Arabia. Barely 48 hours left before Eid al-Adha, locally called Tabaski, we visited the capital's bustling Albert Market to find out how the festive one-tail trade is faring. The Office of the International Monetary Fund (IMF) in the Gambia on Tuesday formally presented the April 2025 edition of the Regional Economic Outlook for Sub-Saharan Africa to Gambian government officials and other stakeholders. As part of intellectual property protection efforts, the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization (ARIPO) and partners have launched a comprehensive training program on patent drafting and prosecution for member states. And in sports news, we hear about the exciting signing of a young Gambian footballer with one of the top clubs in Central Europe. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. Thank you for joining us. Gambian pilgrims have joined millions of Muslims in Minna as the annual Hajj pilgrimage began on Wednesday in Makkah, Saudi Arabia. Babukar Sise is with the pilgrims in Minna and he filed this report.
Today marks the 8th of Dhul Hijjah on the Islamic calendar, a deeply spiritual day for Muslims around the world.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك.
Gambian pilgrims, along with millions of others from across the globe, are spending this sacred day in the valley of Minna, immersed in prayer, reflection, and devotion. It is a time for seeking Allah's mercy, forgiveness, guidance, and sincere contemplation and renewal of faith. For many pilgrims, this journey represents a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reconnect with Allah, purify their souls, and offer prayers not only for themselves and their loved ones, but also for the entire Muslim Ummah. The atmosphere in Mina is charged with humility and hope, as pilgrims reflect on their spiritual journey and commit themselves to the path of righteousness.
Allahumma hadhihi minna famnun alayya bima mananta bihi.
Mina is a place of historical and religious significance. It was here that Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, was commanded by Allah in a dream to sacrifice his beloved son Ismail, a supreme test of faith and obedience. It is also the site where he rejected Satan's attempts to sway him from fulfilling Allah's command. As the sun sets on Minna, a new phase of the pilgrimage begins. Pilgrims will make their way to the plains of Arafah, where they will observe the day of Arafah on Thursday, often described as the spiritual climax of the entire pilgrimage. Babukar Sise, QTV News, Minna.
Barely 48 hours left before Eid al-Adha, locally called Tabaski, Usman Jada visited the capital's bustling Albert Market to find out how the festive one-tail business is faring this year, and he filed this report.
Across the country, Tabaski, also known as Eid al-Adha, is a time of celebration, prayer, and family gatherings, often marked by feast and new clothing. Traditionally, markets like Albert Market in Banjul are packed with last-minute shoppers buying ready-made outfits, shoes, and home goods. But this year, vendors say the festive mood has not brought the usual business. Sheikh Gay, Musa and Fatima Jallo, all vendors at the market, shared their thoughts.
We haven't seen our usual customers. Many have gone to Serekunda or Brikama markets. Business used to be good. We sold a lot and made decent profits. This year is very different. We are just sitting around. This time last year, we could not even catch a break. We were too busy. Now it feels like a ghost town.
Business is slow. People simply do not have the money. Times are tough. Last year was much better than this year.
For many years, the Albert market has been a busy market, mostly during festive periods. But this year's Tabaski sales is a different narrative. What has changed is the million-dollar question.
Several vendors, including Malik Sise and Dei Pendanyang, say the combination of limited preparation time and unfavorable currency exchange rates has had a major impact.
In past years, we had a full 10 days of one tail. This time, we barely had a week to set up. That's not enough to attract buyers or make meaningful profits.
Wholesale prices are up. The CFA exchange rate is really high right now. Sometimes, we only make $50 or $75 profit per sale. It is not sustainable. Honestly, if CFA use was limited to the border areas, it would help. But now that it is widespread, it is affecting prices and our earnings.
It is not just the sellers feeling the pinch at the famous capital market. Customer Mbital says finding affordable clothing has been a challenge.
It has been difficult. I have walked the entire market but cannot find anything within my budget. Prices are too high and we are all trying to stretch our dollars.
With Tabaski fast approaching, vendors at Albert Market are hoping for a last-minute rush. But with rising cost and limited preparation time, both buyers and sellers are feeling the pressure, taking away the usual festive cheer. Osman Chata, reporting for QTV News.
The Office of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in the Gambia on Tuesday formally presented the April 2025 edition of the Regional Economic Outlook, RIO, for Sub-Saharan Africa to Gambian government officials, economic stakeholders and policymakers. Yafatu Gay tells us more.
The presentation served as a platform for discussing recent economic trends, regional prospects, and tailored policy recommendations for countries across Sub-Saharan Africa, with a specific focus on the Gambia. Published twice annually by the IMF's African Department, the REO is a key analytical tool that examines the economic environment in the region, offering comparative insights and policy advice. The April 2025 report, themed Recovery Interrupted, outlined the uneven nature of post-pandemic recovery in Sub-Saharan Africa, shaped by global economic volatility, inflationary pressures, high debt levels, and climate-related disruptions. During the session, Patrick Giton, the IMF's resident representative in the Gambia, highlighted the latest developments of the report.
There was stronger than expected rebound in the region last year, in 2024. Regional growth exceeded expectations in 24, reaching 4% compared to 3.6% in 2023. High-frequency indicators suggest a pickup in growth momentum in the last quarter of 2024. The activity was especially strong in non-resource-intensive countries, which is the case of the Gambia.
The report compares the Gambia's experience with those of other countries in the region, showcasing both vulnerability and varying strategies for resilience and growth. Giton elaborates.
Countries have also made some significant progress in addressing macroeconomic imbalances recently. First, tighter monetary policy has brought region-wide inflation down sharply to less than 5% in February 2025.
The IMF report emphasizes that while many countries in sub-Saharan Africa have shown resilience, the recovery remains fragile and uneven. The report offers a series of policy recommendations urging countries to prioritize inclusive growth and poverty reduction. Here is Bernard Mendy, the economist for IMF Gambia.
Policy makers must address economic imbalances at the same time and ensure long-term developments, all amid high social expectations.
One of the main concerns raised by local participants was the ongoing depreciation of Gambian dalasi, which has sparked widespread debates in recent months. Fluctuations in exchange rate have affected import prices and consumer purchasing power, raising questions about how to strengthen and stabilize the currency. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is a global financial institution established in 1944 during the Bretton Woods Conference and officially came into existence in 1945. It currently has 190-plus member countries and operates as part of the United Nations system. The IMF's mission is to promote global economic stability and growth by supporting sound economic policies, preventing crises, and assisting countries in distress. It plays a central role in the global financial architecture, especially for developing and emerging economies that may lack access to other forms of international capital. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafat Gay.
We'll now go for a commercial break. When we return, we hear about the launch of the first Genomics Center in the Gambia to enhance genomic research capabilities and improve healthcare outcomes across the nation and West African region. And we hear about the exciting signing of young Gambian footballer by a top club in Central Europe. To stay tuned for this and other stories.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taaw place bii bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal li fii rek la am bara warga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal baara ataaya bii ndax moom la ñëpp taam gis nga sama client bii ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër baara warga bii mooy warga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
The future is now. With QCell's 5G network, experience speeds like never before. With our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan, get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. In an effort to improve innovation and intellectual property protection across Africa, the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization, ARIPO, in partnership with AfriIPI and the Gambia's Ministry of Justice, has launched a comprehensive training program on patent drafting and prosecution for its member states. Aissatou Barry reports.
Running from February to June 2025, the program seeks to equip participants with critical skills in drafting, prosecuting, and managing patent applications to international standards. The workshop is part of a comprehensive training program in patent drafting for ARIPO member states. The program began in February 2025 with online sessions covering the fundamentals of intellectual property, which reached some 100 participants that culminated in the Banjul event. The ARIPO is an intergovernmental organization that facilitates cooperations among its member states in intellectual property matters. Their objectives, among others, is to establish common services and bodies for intellectual property rights, coordination, development, and harmonization. There are 22 member states of ARIPO from all 4 regions of Africa. Here is Hussein Tomasi, the Solicitor General and Legal Secretary of the Gambia.
This activity, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, reflects the Gambia's growing commitment to strengthening its intellectual property ecosystem and building national capacity for innovation-driven development.
Ida Galindo Otis, the representative for the Intellectual Property Rights and Innovations in Africa, AFRIPI, highlights on one of the mandates of AFRIPI.
To advance Africa's intellectual property ecosystem of the African Union's African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, agreement and the Agenda 2063. At the heart of these continental instruments lies support for intellectual property rights in order to foster innovation and stimulate sustainable development.
Dr. Otule Rapuleng, rep for ARIPO, emphasizes on how the training will help in addressing challenges in the drafting of patents.
From the standpoint of ARIPO, a fair share of patent applications do not see the light of day because they are simply poorly drafted. We therefore hope this training will go a long way in addressing this challenge.
Here is Enrique Pelekani, the head of cooperation with the European Union delegation to the Gambia.
It's part of a strategy also of promoting trade, and we are also supporting not only trade at continental level, but as well as regional level.
Intellectual property refers to intangible creations of the mind, such as inventions, literary and artistic works, including books and music, designs and symbols that are protected by law. These protections, such as patents, copyrights, and trademarks, allow creators to control the use and distribution of their work, providing recognition of financial benefit. ARIPO continues to play a key role in harmonizing IP protection and encouraging innovation across Africa, as intellectual property becomes a cornerstone of knowledge-based economies. Initiatives like this seminar are vital for unlocking the continent's vast innovative potential. Aisa Tubari, QTV News.
On Tuesday, the Medical Research Council Unit, the Gambia, at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, together with Oxford Napor Technologies, launched the first genomic center in the Gambia to enhance genomic research capabilities and improve healthcare outcomes across the nation and West African region. Mam Nabuka was there, and this is her report.
The launch brought together representatives from the Ministry of Health, the Deputy British High Commissioner in the Gambia, and other dignitaries to advance Gambia's healthcare system. Infectious diseases pose a significant public health challenge in the Gambia, contributing significantly to mortality and morbidity rates, especially among youths, with diseases such as malaria and tuberculosis being leading causes of death. The launch of this Genomics Center puts the spotlight on the importance of genomics in public health and aims to equip researchers and medical leaders in the Gambia with the ability to analyze genetic data, identify disease patterns, track outbreaks, and develop viable treatment solutions. The center will host Oxford Nanopore sequencing technologies for use in translational research, education, and clinical applications, while also placing key priority on providing training to build local capacity and capability in genomics. The initiative is not only poised to tackle health challenges in the country, but to also position the Gambia as the leader in translational research and to serve as a regional hub for genomic motivation across West Africa. Here are Martin Norman, the Deputy British High Commissioner, and Richard Compton, the Senior Vice President of Sales and Commercial Operations at Oxford Nanopore Technologies.
The collaboration builds on the foundations that were laid during COVID-19, when genome sequencing capabilities were rapidly established here and across other countries in West Africa. And today we're taking that shared experience forward with a centre that's going to drive research forward into some of the most pressing health issues and challenges of our time. And it will also going to build national and regional capacity and train the next generation of clinicians and scientists.
Local clinicians can partner with researchers to say, why does a particular cancer drug work better in some patients than in others? Or epidemiologists can sequence the genomes of malaria and track drug-resistant patterns right across borders. The principle that better data leads to better decisions in health. So in summary, the Centre of Excellence is really a platform for public health transformation, combining surveillance, catching those health threats early, research, understanding those threats deeply, and then training, sustaining and expanding our capabilities.
A key focus will be placed on research projects that will address regional public health issues such as infectious diseases, antimicrobial resistance, and zoonotic diseases like rabies. Momodu Nyasi, the Director of Health Services at the Ministry of Health, urged everyone to remain committed and engaged in fostering local talent and global partnership.
Through education, internships, and research opportunities, we will cultivate a vibrant community of researchers who are not only skilled but also deeply committed to the advancement of our society.
With the launching of Gambia's first Genomics Center, the MRCG and relevant stakeholders look forward to the significant impact it will have on the public health system and the advancement of scientific knowledge in the Gambia and the West African region. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
Time now for some sports news. A 19-year-old Gambian footballer, Youssoufa Sanyang, has joined Czech Republic side SK Slavia Praha, commonly known as Slavia Prague, on a 5-year contract from Swedish Allsvenska side Öster IF. Youssoufa's transfer came at time he has also been invited to play for the Scorpions. Our Momodu Gajaga has been monitoring this transfer, and he now reports.
Youssoufa Sanyang hails from Kunkujang and started out playing football on dusty pitches. His never-ending dream of becoming a professional footballer has now taken him to one of Central Europe's most prestigious club, SK Slavia Praha in Czech Republic. The deal which sees Youssoufa move from Östers IF in the Swedish Allsvenska to SK Slavia Praha is reported to be for a fee of 3 million euros, which is a record transfer fee for Östers IF. Youssoufa shares his excitement as he prepares to embark on a new journey.
I feel excited. I'm happy, for signing here in Prague. I think it's a one step for me in my football career, and I'm really happy for the signing also. The first time my agent told me about there are teams interested in you, and I think Slavia is pushing more for you to go. I tell him, I think I'm very excited for that, because I'm playing in Öster, and I think Öster and Slavia is a little bit different. Öster and high level than Öster, so I tell him, okay, why not go take the chance? I want to take the chance to prove myself also in Slavia.
Modulamin Biai, a former sports journalist cum football agent, facilitated his transfer. This is what he posted about Youssoufa Sanyang's transfer on his official Facebook page, and I quote, "Incredibly proud to be behind this record transfer deal for Östers IF that sees Youssoufa Sanyang make a well-deserved move to Czech giants SK Slavia Praha. What a journey it has been for the 19-year-old winger, as less than 10 months ago, Youssoufa was playing in Senegal with Tengage FC. Fast forward, August 2024, when he signed his first professional contract with Swedish side Vitara's SK, followed by the move to Östers IF in January 2025. And now, just 6 months later, he's heading to one of Central Europe's most prestigious clubs, with a senior national team call-up for the Gambia. Top of it all, Youssoufa, your hunger, talent and mentality have brought you this far, and it's only the beginning. End of quote. Yusufa's rapid development and impressive performance at Oosters IF caught the eye of Scorpions coach Jonathan McKinstry to invite him to be part of his squad ahead of 2 friendly matches in Morocco. Coach McKinstry spoke highly of Yusufa at a press conference last week.
A very quick player, he's very efficient. So one of the things with Yusufa is when he takes someone on, he tends to go past them. So his efficiency is very high. He maybe doesn't have as many ball contacts as other players, but when he gets the ball, he makes use of it well. The other thing that we like about him is his pressing. He uses his acceleration, his speed, not just for an attacking sense, but also his ball recoveries are very high.
Yusufa Sanyang, it seems the sky is the limit as he joins a team that has just won the league 13 points clear of second place Victoria Plzeon, and which has 1 Senegalese player, 2 Liberians, 1 Nigerian, and a Kenyan amongst its African contingent. Mudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Before we end, here's a recap of the headlines. Gambian pilgrims have joined millions of Muslims in Minna as the annual Hajj pilgrimage began on Wednesday in Makkah, Saudi Arabia. Barely 48 hours left before Eid al-Adha, locally called Tabaski, we visited the capital's bustling Albert Market to find out how the festive one-tail trade is faring. The Office of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in the Gambia on Tuesday formally presented the April 2025 edition of the Regional Economic Outlook Rio for Sub-Saharan Africa to Gambian government officials and other stakeholders. As part of intellectual property protection efforts, the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization, ARIPO, and partners have launched a comprehensive training program on patent drafting and prosecution for member states. And in sports news, we heard about the exciting signing of a young Gambian footballer with one of the top clubs in Central Europe. That's all for this news bulletin. Join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching.